Good evening, everybody. It's David Schlotthauer here in the Home Weather Studio live on this Saturday evening on the 8th day or 9th day of August 2025 at exactly 8:30 tonight. We're doing this like we did last night, where we are going to watch football, but on our models, right? So we're going to be looking at all of our 5 global models, and we're getting our hurricane models involved as well, because we are going to be looking at those. And I'm going to tell you on why I don't quite trust the hurricane models just yet. There's a lot of high demand in terms of invest 98 or 97L out there. See, I'm getting ahead of myself with 97L as it is spinning about out there off the coast of Africa. And right now, we are starting to see more explosive convection that does indicate that a center could be trying to consolidate. Again, we got to look at where that convection is. And right now, it is most intense right where that low pressure actually is. Yeah, it looks like it's trying to concentrate itself right there. And every move that this system makes tonight is going to be very important for our next model suite of release. And pretty much going from here on out will really matter on how this system behaves over the course of the few days and what that means, how our models are going to react. And so, taking a wide look at the Atlantic in relation to where we were looking at here on the map, there is a very concerning 97L that is off of Africa. There is definitely a very high ceiling on this system where I am beginning to agree that a powerful hurricane somewhere over here in the southwestern Atlantic seems a bit more likely than not. Even if this turns north, there will be coastal impacts along the mid-Atlantic coast, and as well as our little friends over here in Bermuda, definitely not off the table as well. I also saw some X posts earlier on social media that people down here in the northern Caribbean, such as Puerto Rico, as well as Hispaniola, as well as if you're in the U.S. British Virgin Islands, you definitely need to be watching this. Do not let your guard down at all. And I've seen a lot of people saying, oh, this is going to be a fish storm. This is going out to sea, David. Don't worry about it. No one needs to worry about this. This is going to be a fish storm. It's going to go out to sea and not bother anybody. So if you're saying that, that's like being cruel, because honestly, we don't know a forecast beyond 7 days. And I will show you the evidence and background proof of that in this live stream. So we're not only going to be looking at our models as they come in on 97L, but we're also going to be looking at our past model data and also our trends that we need to be very aware of. All right, there's a lot of moving plates, a lot of moving pieces here that the models have to still resolve. And honestly, I'll explain why the models are doing this in a little bit, and that's part of tonight's discussion. There is going to be a lot to go over tonight, so hold on to your hats and tails, buckle up, because we are going to get into the thick of things. So again, there's 97L right there. Let's take a look at our latest model from the icon. This is one in several models that we will be looking at tonight. There's a lot on the lineup. First, we have up on the icon model, and then up to bat will be the GFS model, and then inside the dugout, we'll have the Canadian model, and waiting inside the dugout, waiting up to bat, will be the European, and then the artificial intelligence. And our other team side of things will be the hurricane models, the halves A, the halves B, as well as the HWRF and HMON. Yes, we have it all for you tonight. So let's start looking at the icon first, because it really comes down to initial conditions. All right, that's the play. This is how a forecast gets made, right? What is the system doing right now outside, like not where you live, but like what are we seeing right now that these models are detecting? So right now I did see an ASCAP pass, and seemed pretty realistic with what we're seeing here on the icon. We had a little bit of wind coming around this system. I wish I had the ASCAP pass. Actually, I believe I'll have to go look for. Actually, it's on Andy Hazelton's X page. Let's go over there. This guy again, Andy Hazelton, is probably the one of the VIP over here. So let's go to Andy Hazelton right here. So, oops, that is big. Ooh, that's too big. Sorry about that, people. So this is what the ASCAP pass shows. So we have winds. Let me see if my black pin will show right through this. So the winds are doing this right now. They're wrapping all the way around. Okay, we got northerly flow here. We're getting that pull in, this tug of war effect right here. Okay, so we have a low level center that is trying to get tighter. We're not seeing any indications of that tightening of the vortex or any vortmax, but it is very interesting where this deep area of convection is. The air is being pulled in something like this even. So we might see a secondary vortmax wrapping all the way around into where we have this deep hot tower that is going on. So expect a lot of this whole uncertainty where the circulation actually kind of just wanders over here because this is just a little perturbation that we are seeing. And that has been put into our icon model tonight, our 0Z. So let's play this through and let's see what it shows. Right now, the icon model indicates that that's really going to concentrate and it's going to be still along the coast of Africa. This does not move much further off of Africa. It reminds me of the Eastern Pacific where we have these East Pac systems kind of paralleling the coast. And so there's your wind max on the eastern side. And as you know, wherever the wind max is typically where the storm is moving towards. So this is pretty much due north-northwest. And it remains to be seen how far north will this get on its launching point. And right now, we have a very, very far northerly ejection here with the wave envelope. We go to previous runs, it was a little further south. We will see what the Euro and GFS show, but there has been a trend here to the north on the ejection of this wave pocket. And you would think maybe it's going to form further south, but the icon has a pretty good handle on this as we speak. So let's go into the central Atlantic and let's see where this ends up going. So it ends up a little weaker than the previous runs. Actually, let's see. So yeah, it is a little weaker and it is a little further south. So it is further south on this model run just by a little bit. Because if we put our dot here, boop, boop, boop. Can we find it? Let's put it here, right about there. And let's go back a model run. I don't like looking at intermediate runs on something like this because the icon doesn't go out that far. So we're going to look at our 12Z output and our dot. Where did our dot go? It looks like it disappeared on us. Okay, sorry about that. So let's put it right here. Let's put it right about there. Let's go back in time. And so it looks like it is a little bit further to the south than the last run. Oh, wait, no, hold on. Yeah, just a little further south by a hair, and that really makes a difference. And it's also weaker, it appears, as well. Not as strong as the last run, which also is very important here because a weaker system will tend to move further off to the west. And if it goes further west, then we have a whole bit of problems to really worry about when it comes to this system. Because yes, we have Florida, we have the mid-Atlantic in play, we have the Northeast in play on this disturbance. So let's look at the rest of the Caribbean while that's rendering. And so, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. We don't have any 500 millibar plots on this, or yeah, we do. Never mind. We have 500 millibar plots. And so when we look at our 12Z run, the ridge was weaker. See this? The ridge is weaker right here as you can tell by the height contours. Now on the 0Z run, it is definitely a lot stronger. This is pretty much intertwined now. Not much of a weakness in the ridge here. A little bit lesser of the whole cone here, or the little alleyways a little narrower. And so it's going to be interesting. With the weaker storm now, we could see trends tonight further south. We have had that in the 3 last model runs from the GFS that have been consistently aiming this a little further south with each run. We will see if that continues tonight on the 0Z run. Tonight is important for those that are tuning in, and I hate to put it in the high, or in the what is it? Lost my train of thought. My thumbnail highlights urgent update, and that is because this is a big update tonight. Really is going to be important. Urgent in that matter. So right now we are waiting for our GFS to start rendering, and it has not started rendering yet. So with that being said, why is there a lot of uncertainty here in the global computer model field? Like, why are we seeing all of this uncertainty? It's very normal to see this 10 days out, because the pattern to the north is a lot different than what goes on down here. What goes on up here impacts what goes on down here. And so when we put this into motion, the huge constant issue here is the timing of when the system gets to this point in relation to with what happens off the northeast coast of the United States. So on the European Ensemble forecast at the 500 millibar height chart here, by the way, this is heights. This is 500 millibars showing us our vorticity, where our troughs are going to be, where our ridges are going to be. And I'm just telling you, wait until I compare these runs for you all. And this is going to be 144 hours out that we do this. So you can see the European model has this break, and it's been consistent here where we have this weak trough that gets into Nova Scotia and to far eastern Canada while we have this ridge here. So what ends up happening is there's a little bit of a break in the subtropical ridge right in here, allowing our system to pretty much go in this general direction, making it a fish storm. Now, I want to make it clear here, just because you hear the term fish storm, okay, it's good that it's a fish storm. This does not mean, okay? Let me know if I'm a little too loud, folks. Just because it's a fish storm does not mean, and I want to make this very darn clear in this live stream, just because you hear the term fish storm, it's going out to sea, does not mean your impacts are not going to be there at all. There will be indirect impacts if it's a fish storm, such as, well, we could see some very rough surf emanating out of this. So life-threatening rip currents here along the coast of the mid-Atlantic, the southeastern United States, and the northeast. We have to take that into consideration with this type of setup. Now, of course, it is going to be very bad news if this hits Florida or if this turns and grazes the coast of the Northeast. I understand that. I mean, we could see a hypothetical forecast where it does this, right? It goes along the coast and it parallels the coast and moves right up, and it goes out like that. Everyone's going to say, oh, it's a fish storm, but it's a fish storm in that sense that it didn't make landfall, but it's not a fish storm in the fact that it was so close to the United States that it does a lot of destruction. So we have to take this into consideration. Right now, some turn to the north is going to happen. I am very confident in that. But where that turn happens is very important. Okay, we have to be careful here, because the difference of it turning north here versus north here, or north over here, or north over here means the same thing. It's gonna turn north. But the difference here is you have a lot of land over here. A lot of people live here, right? And so if it turns north sooner, that's good news. Although for marine wildlife, as well as for Bermuda right over here, and yeah, that is Bermuda, that means all the difference. So we're going to keep it at 144 hours because I wanted to show you something. So this is our 18Z model suite. Let's go to here. All right. I wanted to show you all the uncertainty with this ridge up here, with this whole steering pattern. That's the whole critical part in all of this, is the steering pattern. So, of course, some of these models are 12 and 18Z. They're not exactly aligned with each other. Actually, let's see the 18Z run. So we are going to need... Okay, so let's do that. 150 hours on both of these to make it rhyme with our GFS, which has it, which the GEFS Ensemble is only 18Z. So when we look at this, I want to show you, okay, we're going to highlight this height contour right in here, okay? This is going to be very important, that height contour. Let's take a look at our other models here on our Ensemble forecast. The Euro has a much stronger ridge. Did you guys see that? Here's your 594 decameter height contour. This ridge is thicker, it is stronger, and our system here is also a bit weaker. And that's why some of the members still bring this along the coast. Now, if we take a look here at our Canadian model, the ridge is even stronger. So that's why the Canadian is further west on this in its deterministic forecast. See, follow me on that? So a stronger ridge on the Canadian model versus a weaker ridge on the GEFS Ensemble make all of the difference here, okay? Think about a ridge as a wall or a mountain, okay? A topographical map of the atmosphere. That's how we have to make an analogy. So think about when you go north, you're trying to go up the mountain, and it's hard to hike up a tall mountain, right? When you go steep. So you want to find the path of least resistance. And so that's why these systems tend to go north, even so there's a subtlety with the ridge. But the problem here with the GFS, it has been showing this weakness in the ridge while other models have not caught on yet. So with the GEFS up here, we have this trough that is in place. You can see the smiley face here. This is a trough that is being well modeled on the Ensemble over far eastern Canada. If we look at the European Ensemble, that ridge is a little, or that trough is a little bit more diffluent. It's not very long wave. It's a short wave. We have a little perturbation here. We have another little perturbation here. We have a little bit of a ridge in here. This ridge down here is a little stronger. And so what goes on up here is going to really influence what this ridge does down here. And then at the end of the day, what our system does at the end when it's either strong or weak at this point. The goal is to see where the system is here in relation to how this all develops up here, in other words. We take a look here at the we looked at the GEFS. So the Canadian model has a less bit of a trough-like pattern up here. It's more zonal. See that? It's not very much troughy. We get more of an expansive of the ridge over here, and our system is a little further south here at that time because now we have more 500 millibar flow that is coming in out of the easterly and east-northeasterly direction, opposed to the GEFS Ensemble indicating more of a easterly and east-southeasterly flow, which makes all of the difference here. So that is why we cannot say that, oh, this is going out to sea. There's a lot of members. There's a lot of whatever aiming this all the way out. Okay. Those ensembles are only as reliable as what is fed to them. It's like feeding people or feeding 50 people. Think about you're at like say a barbecue party and you want to feed 50 people. Well, you also want to make sure the food is made very well each time. So fix 50 or 51 different hamburger patties, right? You want to make sure those are cooked to as well as they can so no one gets sick, right? Due to Ebola or whatever, due to other bacterial infections, right? So I know it's not the best analogy, but my point here is that ensembles are only as good as the data feeds them, or only as good as a deterministic model could, because we could see rapid shifts. Our ensembles are forecast guidance, but not a single forecast. So just because that, oh, all of them are mostly offshore, David, well, you never thought this, did ya? Not all of them are very far offshore. See, did I get you there? Did it sneak up on you? Right? So let's look at the ensemble from the Euro. Let's just use the 12Z forecast and 10 days out. Now, this doesn't go out beyond 10 days because that's weather nerds for you. But put the thinking cap on here. So what we have is some members, or most of the members, are out here. Okay, they're far offshore. But what do we have over here? Yeah, there's still a possibility. Still a possibility that this does turn late and go out this way and along the eastern seaboard. Now, the only thing I will agree here is I don't see anything going into the southeastern Gulf. That has not changed over the last 24 hours. But what has changed a little bit is these ensembles are still indicating something very close to the Bahamas. And again, a track right along the coast. Being a fish storm, hence the name, does not mean saving grace for the eastern coast of North America, as well as the mid-Atlantic, okay? I want to really clear up the confusion, because people still believe that this is going to be a fish storm, and that's, that's fine and all, but the difference, it being a fish storm right here and it being a fish storm out here, are two different things. All right, so GEFS ensemble, really quickly on the track guidance. Look at this. This is still, look at all these members still aiming squarely, perhaps towards the United States, as well as the Bahamas. We are not done yet at seeing tracks here going further west or further east. We are going to see wobbles. It's a windshield wiper effect. Okay. So I want to really make that very, very clear in this live stream, that just because we see this today doesn't mean we see that same thing tomorrow. Okay. Today might prove very different, that, oh, we saw a trend southward tonight. Yeah, that trend has been holding true today. Also, Bermuda is right here too on the icon model. And this is a pretty intense hurricane, winds of about 87 to 100 miles an hour. Now, just because it gains latitude here doesn't mean it's just going to go out to sea like that. All right. We could see a Florence, and I hate to break it to you all, but we could see something that goes like this and goes like that, and then kind of goes inward like that. Okay. That gets curved because of interaction. We see that here on the GFS 18Z model run. Let's bring that up here quickly on tropical tidbits. We have to do some scenarios here. What could happen even so something goes north, right? So let's go to the mid-Atlantic here, and let's bring up our 500 millibar height chart. In this sense, let's look at that in a little bit. So a system doing this, right? People think, oh, it looks like it's turning north a little sooner. Doesn't always mean saving grace on future model runs, because look what happens. It still heads towards the United States. If you want a system to not hurt anyone in the United States, you would really want a north turn and a north-northeastward turn, avoiding the entire mid-Atlantic of the United States. So watch what happens here. So something interesting that popped up on the 18Z run is this little trough. And you might be wondering, like, why is David talking about a little trough like that over the Great Lakes? Well, because these two are going to love each other a little bit. Let's play this through. This is one model run. This is not a forecast, so I want to make that clear. Anything beyond 10 days out is not a forecast. It's model guidance. And look what we have. Boom. See, they do a little dance, don't they? This trough right here goes this way, and this one gets flung that way. So all about that, you know, we all thought, oh, maybe it's going to miss the United States. Not. So that's why we really got to be careful here. Like, oh, just because it misses the United States, it becomes now, how close does it get to the United States? That is the question that we don't have. I wish. I'm not a meteorologist. I'll be straight up honest with you all, but I know my tropics. I really do. I've been studying this for a while. I'm self-taught, going back since I was 6 years old. So with that being said, even so I'm not a meteorologist, I will say the exact same thing as a meteorologist would say. We don't know. We don't know where this is headed. Hence the title. A hurricane is now likely, but where will it head? We don't know. We don't know. And I wish I had the answer tonight. I could have a theoretical answer, but you guys won't like it. Because at the end of the day, if I said it's going to hit New York, well, people are going to panic, right? Because, oh my gosh, David said it's going to hit New York. But in this case, we don't know yet. It really is. I swear it is all about that ridge. All about that ridge. What goes on to the north? That is the key player in all of this. Okay? In all of this tonight. Okay, so let's take a look now at our 0Z GFS. Let's start playing football, right? We're going to play football and watch these models. So looks like, man, very weird run tonight. Very weird run. Oh, actually, it's the same thing. Looked like it was a little different. Looked like it was going a little north. But here's something that kind of popped up on the model too, and we really need to be aware of this. All right. We have another vorticity max that was not there on the last model run. It was a little weaker, but now has a little bit of a really tight curve right here. We got flow here. So this is another little perturbation that the GFS is detecting. Not that that's going to be the dominant future, but that is something to consider here. Again, these little mesoscale changes lead to big changes at the end. And you can see right here, a little bit of a vortmax. That looks to be the dominant future up there. And here's another one of those little lobes that is to the southeast of that parent circulation, the main area of spin that is to the north. So what does this mean in the long run? Let's play this through as we bring it to you live here on the channel. Let's watch this. Let's watch it. Let's watch it. Something changed. Let me know if you guys know what changed. What changed with the system? This is the latest GFS model. I know what changed, but I want to see if you guys know what changed. By the way, we have 800 people watching tonight. So if you are new here and you haven't been here before and you like the content, share, like, and subscribe. Boy, are we close to 50,000. It went more south. That is correct. It went more south just by a little bit. All right, not by much, but just a little bit. But weaker storm. Someone pointed that out. That was you. EPIM, I think that's how you say it. Weaker system. Reality is coming to fruition. That's why I wanted to do this live stream tonight, just to see with what is actually going to happen. And look at the trend. Look at the 12Z, the 12Z GFS. Oh, a tropical storm. No, it's a tropical storm in 89 hours. Not there. It's not there. So it's a weaker system. So now it's weaker. Where does it go? How far west does this go now? Is going to be, and begs the question. A weaker system goes further to the west, right? Goes further west. A stronger system gains a little bit more latitude. But what did I just say at the beginning? It's not saving grace, right? It's not a saving grace at all. Because if it goes northwest, you get this another big old fat ridge that builds to the north of it. Wonk, wonk. It's going to go west like a Florence. Actually, let's look at Hurricane Florence really quickly. I want to give you some history right here. So Hurricane Florence in 2018, let's bring that up. Look where this thing formed. Formed right here, right? It was further south, and I'm sure a lot of people thought, oh, it's going to go north. It looks like it's turning north. It's going to be a fish storm. I bet you that's what all happened, and oh, it's going to be a fish storm. Just kidding. It weakened and went this way, and then look, it gained latitude, so people immediately thought, oh, maybe it's going to be a fish storm. Nope. It was very unfortunate at the end of all of it, as this made landfall in the North Carolina coast. So we cannot assume that just because it does something like this, it's going to do that, right? We cannot wish that it misses us. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news here. I'm not trying to wish for anything, but we cannot make assumptions that, oh, just because it turns northwest, it's going to turn north and it's going to be like a Lee situation or something, right? Because maybe this does gain latitude and maybe it goes north, and then you get a little bit of a trough here that goes south, and then the thing gets flung and it makes landfall like that. There could be some weird evolutions with this thing. And that's why it is not a done deal. You will still see this on social media. Oh, it went further to the west or further east. It went further north this time than the last model run. All right. Please be careful who you look for on social media. All right. Right now, the benchmark is south of 20 degrees north. So now what I'm going to do here is look at last night's model run. All right. Much stronger hurricane. Weaker here on the 12Z. Little weaker there on the 18Z. And further south and weaker. Further south and weaker. We don't even have a tropical storm on this model run. Yeah, not even a tropical storm. How about that? How about that? Not even a tropical storm. Actually, wait. No, 35 knots, that is a tropical storm, but barely. I would probably take that with a grain of salt. So, Nate, you could actually come on and just be on standby if you want. So we are going to be watching this. What does our Canadian model show? Because our Canadian model's just coming on in right now. So there has been a consistent at this little perturbation. Excuse me, folks. Sorry about that. So there's a little bit of a perturbation right in here that the Canadian model's detecting. It's a little stronger, though, so that is interesting. Now, remember, the Canadian doesn't have good as a track record, but it is still reliable when we have to look at our other models. But I do find that the broader area of spin here is definitely a little bit more robust than it was on the last run. So again, different models do different things, but doesn't always mean a good output. And just because this little Vort max goes a little further to the north doesn't mean it's going to stay north, or it's going to go out to sea, because that's what people are probably assuming. Just because it does that doesn't mean it does that. So now it's going to gain latitude because it shows it strengthening, but it is further south. It is further south. And even our 060 run had this turning north a little later, but it was further south. So we are going to see and wait how this all pans out tonight. So, yeah. Yeah, Nate, you here, Nate? Are you there, Nate? I think he's muted.
Oh, I'm sorry, David. What did you say?
Oh, no, I was just wondering if you were here because you were muted and stuff. Just making sure you were here.
Oh, yep, I'm here. Yes, and it's good to see you guys all.
Yeah. Okay, so let's look at our hurricane models, because a lot of people are going to base themselves like, oh, the hurricane model shows us going further north. Okay, no, because it assumes that it's going to be stronger. We don't have our parent runs in yet. So let's play this through. And I mean, ask yourself, is this really going to be a tropical storm in 30 hours? Is it really going to be a tropical storm over the Cabo Verde Islands? Nah, it's not. It is not. That's why I didn't jump the gun when I saw these models come out. I'm like, ooh, I'm not going to post that because it's bogus. It really is. And then it shows it being a hurricane in about 5 days. That's on the halves A, the halves B. Let's take a look at, oh, wait. Okay, hold on. Oh, because I was on the parent run. So let's go to the half. That was the halves B, by the way. So let's go here. Play this through. Let's see what it looks like. So again, like, it really wants to take something and think that, oh, it's going to be a tropical storm. I really doubt that right now. I really do. And it shows it literally being a major hurricane in 5 days. Like, wow, okay. All right. It's not going to be a major hurricane in 5 days. That's what I don't believe in. In 7 days, a slim possibility. This will be a major hurricane nonetheless, somewhere in the southwestern Atlantic. And then here's the WRF model showing the same thing with winds that are 80 to 90 miles an hour. And here's another run. This is the HMON. Like, very consistently, all four of these hurricane models think that there will be a 40 to 50 mile an hour tropical storm over the Cabo Verde Islands, which, again, I'm disagreeing with it right now. But there is a lot of deep convection, so we'll see if that persists and see if this gets a little tighter. But it shows it becoming a hurricane in 5 days. So pretty bullish on the 18Z output from the hurricane models. 0Z models come in a little later. These are delayed by a lot. They won't start rendering until about 11 o'clock tonight. So we have some time before those even do. 11 o'clock my time. So I won't be up for that, unfortunately. I have church, and because of last night's stream, a good turnout, people wanted me to live stream tonight. So I'm like, you know what? Heck with it. I will pull it off. However, tomorrow night, I will not be able to live stream because I will be at work, and the work Wi-Fi is not the best. It is not the fastest. It's terrible. So I'm not even going to risk trying to go live and my stream like blacking out. So I will have a video out for sure tomorrow, though. Definitely out. It looks like it's going to be a fish storm. All right. You say it's going to maybe be a fish storm. We'll see it after we look at the GFS. Again, you're assuming because it's gaining latitude like this, it's going to be a fish storm. All right. So, yeah. European model has been most predicted the last few years. Yeah, but that doesn't mean it does good with every storm either. On average, it's better than the GFS. Again, averagely based, it's better than the GFS, but It doesn't do good every storm, nor does a GFS do good with every storm. We have to think that. We really have to assume that, okay, maybe the GFS is onto something, or maybe the Euro's onto something. Who knows? Thank you for the $4 donation. Sorry if I missed the previous donation. There was a $10 donation from Peter Moss, I think it was. Thank you for that. So we're just going to need to wait. We're going to really wait for this to come in to see where this is going to go. Our Canadian model, though, almost forgot about that one. See what that's showing. Is this not even rendering? Uh-oh. Are we actually delayed? We're actually delayed on this. Let's see if it's through on Tropical Tidbits. Okay. Oh. Is it? No, it's actually delayed on here too. So that's a problem. We'll just have to wait. Which, by the way, man, the Canadian model. The Canadian model thinks it's going to be way up here. That is pretty darn far north. That is very far north. See, that's why the Canadian's not as, it's good in some ways, but it's not like the best out there. By the way, if you all haven't been here before, as always, my name is David Schlotthauer here. Been doing this for almost 3 years, tracking the tropics and other big weather events. So if you haven't been here before and you do like these live streams, the videos, and everything else about the channel, please don't forget to subscribe. It really helps out a lot. We are very close to 50,000 subscribers. Very close. I mean, let's check right now. We are about... Come on, load on. We are about 600 away. So 600 subs away. Actually, a little more than that. So we are going to be watching this as these models do come in. Live real-time data coming in right now. All that information, all those weather balloons, all that satellite data being fed into the model, and it's simulating what might happen into the future. Into the future. We'll likely skim the East Coast. We'll see how accurate your prediction is. I still think this is going to be out to sea, but it could be a close call. We are just going to need to wait. We're just going to need to wait. The GFS model being a little slow. Oh, there's a Canadian. There's a Canadian. That's funny. Oh, was that the 500 millibar? I guess. No wonder why that was a 500 millibar height map. Whoopsie. Whoopsie. That was a 500 millibar height chart, giving me the look that there was nothing there. So that's what that was. After, okay, the Canadian's a really good model. Should have looked at that really carefully. So this is 850 millibar height map. There's your good old fat ridge out here, though. Pretty dang strong. And it's really going to be about how strong this ridge actually is with time. That's going to be the big player on everybody's minds. It looks like the Canadian model has a slightly stronger ridge here again. Slightly stronger. Oh, we got a prediction. Ooh, that's pretty concerning. Very concerning. And it going out to sea that soon, Nate, I don't know about that one. This is what he's predicting. I will show it to you here on the stream. This is his famous prediction over here. See if I can bring this up. Okay, good. I can zoom in. So he's thinking it's going to go this way, and it's going to get very close to the coast, get close to North Carolina, then out to sea. I think it's going to do something like this. Oh, actually, let me redraw that. So it's going to do something like this, and it's going to go out like that is what I think is going to happen. But we'll see at this point. And just because it's one run, I cannot stress enough, does not mean that it's one model run. It's not a solid forecast. And these run 4 times a day. So there are 4 possible different outcomes per day that this will produce. So it really likes that GFS believes in small storms, though. It definitely believes in all of it. So we will just wait and see. I do not like how strong it gets, though, in 5 days. I disagree with that. I totally disagree. It has trended south, though, today, still. See what this ridge is doing to the north. That's going to be the thing. Oh, also, I wanted to show you all. You want to know how uncertain a 5-day forecast is? Look at the height sigma. So this is 500 millibar height, and this is the norm anomaly in sigma, in standard deviation. So orange areas, red areas indicate the amount where it should be. So this is a stronger than normal ridge out here to the north of the system at 500 millibars. This is the 18Z run. Look at how much that changed. Literally, look at how much that changed just between 2 model runs. And if we look at the 12Z run, look how that ridge is just shaped. Looks like the ridge out here is really weak, though, that the GFS is predicting. Yeah, thinks that northwestern side is really going to be the weak one. Yeah, ridge is weaker on this one. Yup, it's weaker. And it is further to the west, though. It is further west. Still further west. So now it comes down to what part of the United States gets hit with this, or if it happens at all. So we're just going to have to wait. That is a strong system. Oops, where are we? Where are we? There we go. I'm still in disagreement on how fast that strengthens, though. There's not a whole lot of dry air around, though, so that might be the reasoning behind it. So, see what the vertical wind shear looks like, though. That vertical wind shear, surprisingly, is a little elevated on this. Just a little bit more. But not a whole lot. But this is an interesting run. Yep. The western flank of this ridge is really eroding. Got a ridge over here. That is going to stay in place. So there is an alleyway, and it looks like it's going to go this way. It's going to be an out to sea at this point, but We'll see what goes on to the north of it. But that western flank is eroding. It is definitely not as strong. So again, please take this with a grain of salt. But it really is interesting why the GFS sees that. So what's going on to the north? So it makes me wonder why this other part of the ridge right here is not able to back build. Because you have a ridge up here, but you have a trough here, and you have a cutoff low over here. So it just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. Actually, there might be a weak trough barricaded in here somewhere, like a little tut cell. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Yep. 300 millibars. There's a little weak. Little slip of the flow. Yeah. But I wanted to let you all know, this might not be the last system we see either. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but the 18Z, I don't know if any of you saw the 18Z run, but there might be another one out there coming off of Africa. Another strong tropical wave in about 7 or 8 days. No, it's very far out, but it's something to consider that it is. This would be late August, and we definitely always need to watch what goes beyond, what happens beyond that tropical wave. Definitely some strong confluence right here. So additional waves coming off of Africa is certainly expected. Just a matter of will they develop. Yep. This is going. See, the problem is you have this little cutoff low that has eroded that part of the ridge, and it tries to build in, and then it just is like, okay, I'm eroding. Yeah, this is further east. This is a little further east. So, yep, it looks like it's going to be further east. So this is definitely, but it's interesting because it did go north. That ridge is a lot weaker. So this is, I don't know. I do not know about this one. Let's see what the Canadian shows. Canadian went north today, or tonight as well. So let's see here. Yep, there was a weakness. So models are picking up that there is a weakness in the ridge here a little bit more. Especially that GFS right now. So just have to wait, though, what future model runs show. Yep. It's going north-northwest. Looks like this is going to clip Bermuda, though, which means we will be streaming on this if it does hit Bermuda or gets very close to Bermuda. By the way, if you all have not been here before and you do like these live streams, please don't forget to subscribe, share, and like, and also ring that bell icon to get all of my daily tropical weather updates and live streams when we do have a tropical storm or hurricane that makes landfall. David sweating, thinking hard. Am I sweating? I am sweating. It really reflects these lights. Yeah, it is warm. It is really warm tonight. It got up to 103 today. It's hot out here back west. So, yeah. So we'll just wait and see what our Canadian still wants us to go west. It still likes that thing going west. But it is further south, or it is further north. Oh yeah, this is going pretty much almost due north. It is going to get quite close to Bermuda. Definitely a close one with Bermuda right there. Still a major hurricane though. Definitely a major one. CMC has been going west. Yeah, but that could be changing in tonight's run. It's only a little further north, though, but that makes, again, all of the difference. All I know is Jacksonville is safe. Yeah, I'm not ready to make the call if Jacksonville is safe yet. So, the European model. Oh, the artificial intelligence. I don't even think I looked at that today, didn't I? Or did I not? Shoot. I might be behind on a model. Let's actually look at the artificial intelligence, where that has it going. Yeah, so that 18Z run did go further to the west on it. Oh, I did look at this today. That's right. Yeah, look how strong that puppy is. Man, that's still wants that west. Yeah, so. And that's the 18Z run today. And here's another system. Man, artificial intelligence is going a little bit crazy. Little bit crazy tonight. Or 18Z run, at least. We'll see what the 0Z shows. And that'll give us our preview on what the European model is going to show, perhaps. Because they tend to be pretty dang similar. See what our pressure is. Man, this is lagging behind. All right, looks like the Canadian is gaining latitude, so it's much, much further to the east than the last run and further to the north. Yeah, look at that difference. So there seems to be an agreement that that ridge up to the north is going to be weak. Very interesting. Very interesting. But what's up, everybody? In the chat, we have 850 people watching tonight. This is great. This is amazing. So again, share this if you haven't already. Sharing is caring. Oh, it's actually going to go north-northeast. How about that, GFS? Man, GFS. Wow, it's actually going to the northeast. Wow, this is a very wonky model run. Wow, okay, GFS. Wow. Yeah, it's going around that ridge nice. Like, wow. It's a storm that doesn't want to impact anybody, which is good. We don't want a system. We do not want a system impacting anyone at all. But it's just interesting that it can't make up its mind. It cannot. It's like, oh, maybe the US, oh, maybe Bermuda. Oh, no, 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 no. I'll just turn around and make a U-turn. Or no, it will hit Bermuda, it looks like. A little bit of a wobble there. That's probably what that was. By the way, that's a major hurricane headed straight for Bermuda. But I'm not trusting this model. That is for sure. That is for sure. Not trusting this one. Big time outlier. But overall, though, if you look at the last several runs, though, it has trended north and east a little bit. That's been the alleyway this season, or so far. That whole area. See, I told you it's going to be a fish storm. Well, see it to believe it. In other words, wait until the model's finished, then make your call. But let's just wait and see what the artificial intelligence and what the Euro shows. And if those trend further to the east, then that is going to be, then there might be a trend away from the coast, which would be very good for everybody. It would be very good. But then it comes down to, if it goes west, which it is going to go west, how long will it go west for? So see, we're not going to know an exact answer for another 4 or 5 days. Really, we're not going to know. I would rather say, let's have some fun tracking this, and then we'll get, well, I'm concerned about it because of how strong this is going to be. And yes, it is going to get close enough to land areas that we definitely need to watch this. But enjoy it now. Like, watch it on satellite and just like, wow, this is how a tropical system actually develops. Keep in mind, the Canadian is further to the north, but still close enough to where it can still hit the US. So we'll have to wait to see what happens when that model run is done. Actually, yeah, it has a little more way to go. What's up, Tevin? How are you doing? Welcome, welcome. By the way, if you all are new here and if you haven't been here before, smack that like button. Smack it. And ding, ding, subscribe as well. And enable all notifications. So there's good old little Bermuda over there. Let's see. We have no new frames in yet. To see whether or not that's going to hit Bermuda. It's like it is going to be very close. Very close. David, look at the hurricane activity for 2025. We are here. We are in August 9th. Yes. OTG. I'm aware it's August, and I'm aware there's a lot of hurricane. There's some tropical activity. Not a lot right now, relatively. GFS has it very close to Bermuda. I know. Bermuda's right there. A little speck. It's where Bermuda is. Waiting for more frames to come in, though, from the GFS, but no new frames have come in yet. Oh, man. It goes right to the west or east of Bermuda. That is the furthest east that the GFS has had it. But it is very important to note, though, that the Euro had something very similar in its 12Z output. You can see the difference right there. There's a 12Z Euro from this morning. And then we go to our GFS. It is exactly similar. So if the European model has the same solution, then we might be onto something. We just might, but we'll see. We'll just have to give it a little bit more time and wait for the next set of runs to come in. So are we in Florida going to get hit with anything? Right now, we're not sure yet. We're still not sure, okay? Sarah, thank you for asking that, though. Category 3 plus. Still a major hurricane at play here, potentially, yes. On the GFS. But let's see what goes on out there in the Atlantic beyond this, though. Yeah, nothing yet. I'm going to start watching for any more tropical waves behind this. Won't show you all those tonight, probably, because I don't want to overwhelm all of your guys' minds with more waves coming off of Africa. But, man, we got to start watching the MDR even further out. Yeah, this first one may be a fish storm, but what comes behind that way down the road into late August into early September may not be. Because I wanted to show you, though, back to the 12Z Euro model. One goes by, but not the second one. I know this is very far out. This is like 312 hours out, but it is something to start looking at in future model runs, because the artificial intelligence model did see something similar in its forecast. So we something to consider. I'm not too worried about it right now because it's too far out, but it's just letting us know the season may not be done. This period of activity is not finished, possibly after this system. That goes off. That goes off the map. Goodbye, 97L. Have a great time out there being a fish storm. So now that gives us, oh man. It gives us a little bit more free time over here. Before our Euro comes out, we have a whole entire, another hour at least before our next set of runs come in. What a big gap. Yeah, this is a lot further north, man. On the Canadian model, at least. See, it's trending, dude. It's a fish storm. I'm not going to say it's going to be a fish storm yet until I see more model data come in. We'll probably know for a fact in about 2 or 3 days. If this trend continues for another couple of days, then I'll make videos and do what I need to do, of course, to keep you all updated, because I do daily tropical weather updates anyways, but the level of concern will decrease potentially. I don't believe this run. GFS is trolling. Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see what the artificial intelligence, what the Euro shows, because it could change everything. GFS is a troll. It's not a believable model. It's a troll. It's a troll, brother. Yeah, well, it's called an outlier. Unless the Euro agrees with it tonight and the artificial intelligence. Yeah, I know, Titan. All right, so yeah, this is Yep, that's going north too on the Canadian. This is about day 10. Not much is going to change. So that's out in the waters, away from land areas. So that is 3 models tonight that are out to sea. Yep. Yep. Out to sea you go. So we'll see what our other models show. Boy, this is a very weak ridge out here. Man, very, very weak subtropical ridge. I mean, look how weak this thing is. Not very strong at all. High is way up here to the north. This is what caused a lot of problems with any development off of Africa this time last year, where the subtropical ridge was very, very weak. Logan, thank you for the $5 donation. So I'm a meteorology student interested in this field, and actually put a forecast 19 named storms, probably, yep. 9 hurricanes, 5 major hurricanes for the season based on research. Any thoughts on this forecast? I am staying pretty conservative with my numbers. I am predicting, I haven't released my new one yet, but this is from July. I'm predicting 10 to 15 named storms, 4 to 7 hurricanes, and 1 to 3 major hurricanes. But I'm going to wait until August to have that released, because I am just not confident. Because if we don't get any we are going to get activity, but I really want to see how this plays out. There is a lot of moisture out there to work with these additional tropical waves, so we are really going to need to watch this little guy right here. There's a big, sharp wind gradient, and that would be your vorticity. Lots of vorticity within that. Yep. Well, it looks like it's not going to develop. Yep, that system is long gone. Goodbye. All the way up there in the far eastern Canada, Canadian border in the North Atlantic. What are your thoughts about this run, Nate? I want to hear your thoughts.
Well, looking at this run, David, it's been kind of consistent on today that they're trying to pull this thing north. I'm not really too certain about it. I know I had it on my prediction for this model that it was going to get pulled a little bit north, but it was going to get a little closer. I think it just takes more time, and I'm interested to see what the Euro has to say about this as well.
Me too. I'm really waiting for that Euro. We have another 45 minutes before the artificial intelligence model. Probably a little sooner than that before that starts coming out. So, yeah. There is this little wind max far out in the GFS in about 10 days. It has enough moisture with it. It's actually not really. Not a lot of moisture. Never mind. Little perturbation, though. Little perturbation in that. Here's more vorticity right in here. That is quite significant, actually. So we're just going to wait and wait patiently for the Euro. Let's see what our AI models have to say, though. These are the 18Z AIs. Yep, 18Z AI models have been released. This is the Google model. Man, it still wants us very close to the United States. Very close. For sure. In fact, if we take a box area here. Yeah, look at this. I mean, you can see all the spaghetti plots. And most of these do want this at least a hurricane, for sure. And there's a couple of members that want this down to 925 millibars. That's very deep. So the Google AI model very diverged on this. I mean, come on. That is pretty significant there. Still pretty close to home, for sure, with some members keeping this, still hitting the US. But most of the members here have a major hurricane with all these purple dots. So that's what that is. And keep in mind, there's also some signal out here for more additional tropical development coming off of Africa too. So just because this becomes a fish storm, potentially just a slim potential chance that it does, we're going to need to watch down here still too. So it's like one system after another system. So we had 96L that is straddling all up in here. Then we have our next system. Oh, goodness, I drew an number 8. So that system is 97L, and then maybe more development out here on the deep learning model. See the next gen. Now see, there's more members See what the high-res artificial or the European Ensemble is showing. There's that system. There's not many members, but let's go back here to 12Z. Yeah, so see, we have more chances. A little signal here and another signal out here. Two different waves that the ensembles are picking up on. So that will be something to consider. What's up, Logan? Thank you for the $10 donation. I appreciate the donation. My forecast is based on the fact that negative neutral phases bring the most active seasons in recent years because the Atlantic is warmer and doesn't shift storms east or west like the La Nina and El Nino are. So what are your thoughts, Logan, then, going forward, as far as like, what are your thoughts for the rest of August after this system moves through? Do you think we will see more tropical development then? Actually, if you have Discord, I would love to get to know you. Here's a strong system right here, trying to consolidate. There's a nice area of low pressure. Threatening message from the GFS. See, I'm telling you, I think we're not done. I hate to say it. I really do. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the GFS has been signaling something for the last few model runs after this wave. I know we have to focus on one wave at a time, but since there's like nothing, since we're in between model runs and we're just waiting and waiting for the Euro, why not show stuff very far out there in the Atlantic? So that's a system. And keep in mind, the AI model was actually showing something similar. If we go back to that forecast, showing something here, actually a little faster. Now, we're not done. I don't think we're done yet. Seeing storms off of Africa. Strong ridge builds behind this wave. That's what Gabriel is saying. Take a look at that, actually. Yeah, if that ridge retrogrades like that, yeah, that wave that's caught underneath, something to consider. And that is a strong little piece of energy right there. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Small little spigot. And there is a low-level ridge, mid-level ridge too. So that is a deep flow coming out of that direction. So this would definitely be moving west. We're actually gaining latitude a little bit because it's strengthening. But this is a hypothetical forecast at 282 hours out. But since we're in between waiting for model runs or for more additional models, we're just going to use this for entertainment purposes only. But geez, the trade winds out here are very weak at the end of all of it. Very weak. I mean, that is... Man, there's literally no high pressure out here at all in the Atlantic. That high is just like... Man, this is very weak. In the last couple of runs... As weak of a ridge you can get. Whew. Means our oceans are going to warm up. They're going to get warmer. Maybe significantly warmer, if that. What's up, Easy? What's up, David? What's the latest on the models? They're further east, Easy. All of them are missing the United States, including perhaps a Canadian. The Icon has its, you know, it only goes out to 180 hours, but it is still pretty far offshore. The GFS is literally just east of Bermuda, like as far east as it can go. Is Bermuda safe? Doesn't look like it. Does not look like it on this run, that's for sure. It's a major hurricane hitting Bermuda, like category 4 intensity. Actually, that is, because it's 120 knots here. You translate that, that's about 130 miles an hour. That's pretty dang strong. What's up, JJ Shed? How are you doing? By the way, if you have not been to the channel here before and you do like these live streams and you're new, please subscribe to the channel. Boy, we are very close to 50,000. Very close. I'm excited. I'm excited to celebrate 50,000 subs on the channel. Probably get a notification from YouTube that, hey, your channel just hit 50,000 subscribers. Celebrate with your viewers. I'll probably do. Might have a 50,000 subscriber special. We shall see. I highly doubt that, depending on, because with the storm happening, well, maybe next week we'll see when I hit that 50K mark. It's just a nothing burger. Fish storm. Overwhelm away. Yeah, okay. So you guys are saying it's a fish storm? We'll see how believable this actually is. We do have another system out here, though. I'm telling you, we may not be done with the tropics. I don't want to take focus off of 97L, but, you know, there's been a little bit of noise out here on the model showing either something over here, and then the next run, it is showing something over here. So maybe a little bit of mischief going on out here by the 21st or the 22nd of August. Is Oklahoma okay? Yes, Oklahoma's going to be fine. There's no threat for a landfall in that area. Lego Train 489. I'm not at 50,000 subscribers yet, but thank you anyways. Do you think the Gulf will be bad this year? Very hard to say. Very hard to say. Maybe in early October, mid-October, when the Central, or even late September, when the Central American gyre picks up, it can make things a bit worryful. But it's really hard to decipher if the Gulf is going to be bad this year. Long Island chances. The chances of this system hitting Long Island, very slim. About 1% chance because it's too far out. It is just too far out. What's up, Cyclonic? How are you doing, Cyclonic? Fish cyclones. And you know who's going to get impacted by this, though, if it's a fish storm? Fishes. Marine wildlife. That's an impact. they're going to be impacted by this. But it's only one model run. We are going to just see and wait if the trend sticks. If it sticks, sticks. But man, one could even argue, there's your circulation right there. Looks like something is trying to consolidate underneath all of this convection, though. You got flow. We look at this carefully. I don't know if you guys can tell. But right about in here, something is trying to consolidate. So that's probably where the low is forming. And if this ends up further south, it could also be stronger and gain latitude. It's what it's made to do. Thank you for that, Nate. Yeah, some of these models could be convectively biased and may not locate the center exactly. And all it takes is one thing off. If it doesn't see the center exactly, it could throw this whole forecast off. That's why forecasts change even if it's 2 days out or 1 day out. It's not perfect. It's not perfect at all. Yep, looks like we got another entity out here to watch. Man. And that's much lower in latitude. I don't believe it because it's too far out and GFS is always in fantasy land. But in the last couple of runs, it has had something right over here. It had something, and now 0Z is a lot slower with it. But it still has some mischief down here. See what the next Euro and the artificial intelligence show. It's something to talk about since, like, we're waiting for the models. I mean, we're waiting for the next couple to come in. Guys, everyone has to purchase merch. I agree with that, Nate. Easy, I'm rather popular now. You're popular, Nate? Congratulations. I should say we're about to become popular. Because once I hit 50,000... makes me popular. No, I'm just kidding. A little more popular than I am now. Only by another 600. What's up, WX and Chaser? How are you doing? Or Weather Chaser? How's everything with ya? What's up, Caleb? How are you? So, sounds good, boss man. Thank you for that, easy. Or, yeah. Easy peasy. So watching from southwestern Florida. The hot spot for storms, huh? Yeah, if a storm moves through that if a storm develops, certainly a hot spot. Find this little area interesting. Speaking of the Gulf, little bit of a circulation right here. Definitely tell a circulation in about 210 hours out, very far out. Fantasy, remember fantasy land over here. There is a circulation that the GFS has recently popped up. Not saying that's going to be anything that will develop, but I just thought to point that out since we're waiting for models. It's what I'm looking for. I'm just looking for random areas to point out on the map. How long am I streaming for? Probably for another 30 to 40, about another hour. We're waiting for the European model to come in. But I can tell a lot of people are losing interest. You guys are all leaving. Don't leave. We have another model to come. We have another model that's coming in. 2 more. Another less than 30 minutes. We will have our artificial intelligence model. We're just waiting and waiting and waiting for that. It's got to be the last thing on our list, right? That and the European. Best for last. Best for last. All right, easy. Yes. After my stream, I could be in for just a little bit, for like 5 or 10 minutes. Okay. And then I gotta head to bed. On Discord is Logan Rounds. Ooh. All right. At Logan Rounds, I'm going to send you a friend request. Thank you for the donation yet again. All right, I sent you a friend request on Discord. Again, thank you for the $2 donation. And August is a wild card. What about September? September should be pretty busy. Well, depending on the state of the MJO. Actually, let's take a look at that really quickly while we're waiting. See what the... Yeah, that's right over where it needs to be to get the Atlantic quite active. And this would be around the rapid increase in tropical activity. Again, Bill Gray would ring his bell, or Mr. Gray would ring his bell and be like, the season is officially getting super active. And this is what we look for. This signal, lots of upward motion over here, downward motion over here, but your tropical waves propagate from east to west over Africa, then off of Africa. That's why I think we are not going to be done with this. Man, look at all that upward motion on that one tropical wave coming off of Africa. Yep, see, here's another one that's trying to get going. Man, they're just going to be lined up out there. One after another. There's one there, and there's another one. These are very small. Small. Very tiny. So, yeah, that's wrapping up nicely right there. That is pretty dang intense. Little spurt, little spin up. Yeah, Another little surprise here on our model. Yeah, see, it's still there. It's still there. And there's another one. This is right where we want those waves to be. Nice, good easterly flow here. Got the southwesterly flow here. Slip flow. Yeah, wouldn't be surprised if we get more. I mean, I believe we're not done after this right here. And I'm sure people start talking about this because let's be real right here, okay? If this actually becomes a fish storm, people will focus on the next thing, you know, when we still have to watch this little guy or large storm. But yeah, let's not take our eyes off of the MDR after 97L. As you can see, there is a lot more energy out there. There's like, you can really tell. See, here's another little perturbation right here in the flow. Is there a likelihood that NHC will be hit by 97L, or is it pretty clear it's going to be too far north already? So what we have so far based on our Canadian model, so the Icon, the Canadian, and the GFS have this not hitting the United States. As of right now, those are the three models that we have at our disposal right now. We are waiting for the artificial intelligence model to come in and what the actual deterministic Euro is going to show. So we cannot call it off this. And even if those two models actually show a miss and a fish storm, I'm still not agreeing to it just yet. But yeah, thank you for the $10 donation. I do appreciate the donations. By the way, we made $60 tonight, so thank you guys for that. I do not want to be the bearer of bad news over here. I'm not trying to sound like that. We're just going to need to watch. So we're going to just need to wait. This model's almost done though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more frames on the GFS. This high looks to fix itself a little bit more. It turns out our 500 millibar pattern is a bit more firmly established. Got that nice easterly flow over here. Yeah, look at all of this energy coming off of Africa, though. Man, yeah, see this? Right there. There's another piece of energy, very strong piece of energy in the 500 millibar level. So I really hate to say it, though, but again, I think we're not done. We're not done just yet. Think 1 or 2 more systems before August comes to a close. Certainly a thing. And there is enough moisture, but it is a bit dry. It is a bit dry. Not with this system headed towards a Western Caribbean. Oops. Sorry if I went dark there. Looking, okay, so Logan says, and to answer more on activity, it's looking so far similar to 2024. We have kept pace, and sea surface temperatures and Enzo are also similar. All right, so let's look at this. Sorry, take my focus off of you guys. All right. Yeah, so that's that. I think we can all say the GFS is officially done rendering. Not much is going to change in the next few frames, but that is a strong system. That is a very compact system, which again, I don't believe. I don't believe anything that the GFS has to say beyond 10 days out. You know why? It's called Fantasyland, but signals, and again, it may not be done. Let's take a look at our artificial intelligence. We're still waiting for that to come in patiently, ever so patiently. Come on, Aphis. We need you to start rendering. This will be a fast one to come in. Yeah, this is what the Atlantic looks like right now. This is what it's looking like at the moment. There's our big wave. Actually, did the NHC update their Outlook? Let's see if they did. Nope. Bet you that's going to be red, though. It's going to go red in their next Outlook, maybe. So, sorry, this is what happens when I get bored. Like, believe me, I'm bored just like you guys are. We're just waiting for our next Aphis. Come on, Aphis. Load. Load, load, load. Because that's going to be our ultimate model. Well, I see the show is still going on. Yup, Pat. And in a good way, all models, other than the two that we're waiting for, keep this offshore. And they're further to the east. What are your thoughts, Pat? What are your thoughts? I know, Pat, you had the stream of your life. I know. You earned like almost $1,000 something. Congratulations. Congratulations. Over here, I only made 60, but that's good. That's good. Maybe you guys will surprise me. So if you guys are enjoying the stream, please make sure you do hit that like button and also subscribe to the channel. I know we're sitting over here, probably scratching our heads, waiting for the European model ensemble or the European deterministic and its artificial intelligence. But this is the grand finale. This is the grand finale of all things. This will make or break tonight's prediction or what our thoughts are. So if you have not been here to the channel and you absolutely love the content that you're seeing, including my good old friend over here, Nate and Easy Peasy, which will be helping out with my channel, making overnight live streaming much more likely than just me doing it on my own like I did last year and the year before. Please subscribe to the channel. Subscribe, share, and like. Bam, boom. Can you go to Tropical Tidbits and go to GFS and go to Southeastern US and click upper level dynamics and click that total fraction? You see the size of the storm. I don't really look at cloud cover, but I will do it for you since we're just waiting over here for our next model. Total cloud fraction, you're saying, right? Yeah, okay. I don't really see anything unusual. I really don't. There is a little spin, though, that the model picked up on. That could be very interesting. You never know, these little things that come off and retrograde like that can be a bit on the surprising side. Thank you, Joseph. I appreciate that. As for 97L, I wouldn't watch the next 24 hours. OBS currently are further south and west of the models, and they tend to catch up. That's also the question of the ridge over North America, and we'll have to wait. So the circulation's further south. That's what I'm starting to notice. I don't know if you're noticing that, maybe a little further south. I know something's happening right in here somewhere where all that deep convection is blowing up. There's your circulation, so I'm wondering if it's tucked underneath here now. If it actually jumped a little further where all that convection is. I'm really waiting, though. I'm going to wait for the artificial intelligence to see. Here it is. It's coming in. It's coming in. Right now, it's coming in. Yes. Oh, wow. This is weak. Pat? Look at it's further south, but it's a lot weaker. I'm not going to trust the artificial intelligence model yet. That is very weak, though. I mean, there it is. There it is, right there. Wow. That is further south, but it's not high resolution. But it's interesting because it is definitely trended south today. Further south and weak is a bad sign. Now, we'll see what that euro, that's going to be the ultimate decider factor over here is the euro, the deterministic forecast. Because the euro artificial intelligence is under the euro umbrella. So if this is further south, we'll see if the euro kind of semi-latches onto that. It will only go further west and potentially go off in the southwestern Atlantic. Oh, wow. This is pretty much done now. Let's see what it's showing in the Caribbean when we go to the Caribbean sector. No! Oh, man. That's in the Gulf. That is in the Gulf. That's in the Gulf. No way. No way it's in the Gulf. Right there. It's in the Gulf. What? Like, really? Are you serious, APHIS? Are you sure about that? All right, so so we go from the GFS being this far to the east to the APHIS being this far to the west. Wow, okay. Okay. Okay, APHIS. I so hate you. I don't care what you're thinking, but okay, that's not going to happen. Now, if the euro trends in that direction, then Pat, I want to give you a call on Discord if that happens. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, if you were up to talking, nah. GFS was out to lunch. See, I don't see. It's very hard to ignore the GFS. It really is. It wants that ridge weaker. It really does, and it wants to show some strengthening. So I don't know. I really don't know about this. This is very complicated. It is so complicated. I know, Pat, I'm just joking with you. I don't have hardly any time to do any big calls on Discord tonight. I'm like, the euro goes like that. I was being sarcastic. We need to talk tonight. It's like this is such a different run. Look at our little system curves up right here, but our system, I don't know if the artificial intelligence is like, let's keep these people watching out there in the Atlantic, huh? You think the GFS is an outlier? I'll show you an outlier. And that's what the European artificial intelligence was telling me, or telling all of us, like, oh, I'm an outlier to the south now. Yeah, look at that thing. Man. Boy, if this gets into the Gulf or the southwestern Atlantic, it is going to be a big problem. It is going to be a big problem. So now let's look at our European model, because that has started rendering. Are you all ready? Grand finale over here. Good old grand finale. Shoot up those European model fireworks, because we're about to take a look at this. Yee. Wow, okay. This is new. This is very new. That Vort Max up here completely gone. Completely gone. Like, there's no Vort Max up there on the northeastern wave pocket. It's gone. It's all down here. It's concentrated down here now. So I'm wondering if that deep convection that we're seeing is the beginnings of some broad consolidation over here. I don't know. That is why I'm very interested in how this is going to play out. NHC updated, take a look. Code red. We got a code red on the NHC now. 70% chance. 70% chance now on this thing. And it is still, the southern end of this is still lined up very close to the islands. So they have not changed the highlighted area at all, only to change the color, but it is still aimed squarely in the same direction. So they are not taking the GFS into consideration yet. And in theory, here's a fun fact about a highlighted area. This is where tropical development is possible within this area. So in theory, this could still develop down here and then move up like what we're seeing in some of our models, or this could swing hard and then go up like this. That is why they have this huge area out, out here highlighted. But a 70%, last night it was like only a 20%. 20% last night. Now it's all the way up to 70% on this. Man. Yeah, let's read this. A broad area of low pressure associated with a tropical wave is producing a large area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms, but just to the east and southeast of the Cabo Verde Islands, environmental conditions appear conducive for gradual development of this system, and a tropical depression is likely to form by the middle to the latter portion of the week while moving west-northwestward at 15 to 20 miles per hour. That's pretty fast. Across the eastern and central tropical Atlantic. So, yeah. So they're keeping this thing still highlighted. But this is going to be the area right here. 97L is proving us real that this is going to develop significantly, perhaps. But I wanted to make it clear, there is no vortmax on this model run at all. Last night, there was a vortmax right up here to the north. Tonight's model run, gone. It is gone. There is nothing there left. There is nothing. You can see the comparison. Boom, 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 and boom. It's gone. So that is going to affect where a new area can consolidate. But this really sticks out down here. I know it's hard to tell, but this broad area of lower pressure is going to be the new area that the models are maybe beginning to latch onto. That's why, man, things are very sensitive. It is consolidating further south. The southern vorticity took over. Do you have proof of that, Pat, by any chance? Do you have proof of that? Like, because if you're when I think south, I think like way down here, or I just don't know what when you mean like it's consolidating further south, because the low is still somewhere over here. Very hard to tell, but yes, I can prove it. No, I'm talking to Pat. A-scat from last night. If it's the one that Andy Hazelton right here put in, that's different than what this shows. I think that was from like right over here somewhere. The A-scat pass. I want planes to fly into this and give us more data though. This is a little while ago. Way while ago. Low is the big blob of circulation. So it's probably where all this convection actually is. Very hard to tell, but I bet you it's where all that blowing up thunderstorm is. Where all those storms are blowing up at. Okay, let's run this through. Let's go to the central Atlantic. No, it's weaker though, but it's in the same spot. Nope, it has not trended further south. It has not trended further south in this model run. Yep. I'm going to make a hypothetical prediction. This is going out to sea. I bet you it's going to turn out to sea. Oh, yeah, look at this. You got westerly flow right up in here in the low levels. There's not much of a ridge over here. Yep. It looks like it is probably going to turn out to sea. Yep, there it goes. There it goes. Your wind max is right over here now to the northeast of the circle, whatever perturbation there is. You can see it, and it's going to turn out. Wow, GFS. You saw that quick, didn't you? Still way too early, though. Way too early. But there has been a consistent signal that it does turn a little earlier. All right, David, I'm headed to bed right now. Have a nice night. Thank you for tuning in, Pat. I appreciate it. I want to see what happens. I'm going to wait until this runs all the way through because this will be done in like about 15 to 20 minutes. This is a fast one. This doesn't take forever at all. It will run through its forecast very fast. But I'm really making a forward speculation that unless this ridge tries to back along with this, then this doesn't have a chance to really gain latitude, but we'll see. We will see. But it is definitely weaker than the 18Z model. Yeah, it's notably weaker on the 0Z than the 12Z, and it's... Yeah, it's... Wow. Wow, this is weakening, not strengthening. Yeah, this is weakening instead of strengthening. Wow, okay. Yep. It's weakening. Looks like it's trying to weaken. Wow, this is a crazy run right here. Very interesting. Very interesting. Yep, I know, Soul. It's hitting Texas. Yes, I understand the artificial intelligence shows something hitting Texas. Which doesn't make sense. Like, it does not. So we literally don't have any more model support tonight. There is just no model support. Yeah, this is weakening. It's gone. She's done. She is done. Oh, no. Strengthened on the last run. It is further to the north. It is still further to the north. Yep. This is going out to sea. Unless it really remains weak and well defined, but man. That is just Yep, there's your break. There it is. Yep. See what goes on behind that. We'll see if we have any more tropical risks. But I doubt it. Well, maybe. What a change things have made. When does 0Z come out? Overnight, and I'll be asleep once it does. David, say it's cooked. Yeah, there's a lot of confusion in the models tonight. You know what I'm simply going to say? A big I don't know. Strength now is becoming a little bit more uncertain. It really is. GFS trended down a little bit. Euro is now trending down. I mean, I guess the models are hearing about all the hype that's going on, including myself over here. I'll be honest, I did hype up a little bit, but we had all that solid confidence, but something really has changed. I'll tell you, it's not as far east as the GFS shows, but it's close. It is close. It's right over here. There must be deep layer vertical wind shear or something. No, there's not much shear. There's not much shear at all. See the moisture. Man, something is off. There actually might be some dry air. That might be why at 300 millibars. See what our pressure looks like. Man, I'm very confused about this tonight, I'll tell you. I am very confused about why the models are acting this way. It's too far out, but man, this is a 7-day forecast. What do you think is going to happen? At this point, it being a hurricane over here seems still a little bit likely, more likely than not. But how close does this get to the United States is very uncertain. I'm not cooked, no. The AI model is worse than the GFS. At this point, it more likely is, yes. Yep, this is going out to sea. It is going out to sea. Goodbye, 97L. It was nice knowing you. At 7 days, too. Yeah, the 0Z artificial intelligence model is a very big outlier. Oh my gosh, the biggest outlier in the world. I mean, look at how far. I mean, this literally wants to hit Houston, Texas by Friday, the 22nd of August. Whereas the European model wants this way out into the Atlantic. Dude, too early to tell, bud. Laughing out loud. I know it's too early to tell. I was being sarcastic. Goodbye, 97L. On this model run, at least. So now it comes down to current evolution of the system. It really will. What is it going to do? There is a lot of convection on this. There is a lot of convection, and I'm wondering, I'm going to do something. I'm going to check to see if it detected any convection. Yeah, so that's that. Let's match that up with our satellite image. So that's what we have supposedly on the European model with that big blob of convection. Let's see if it matches. No, look at it. Most of the convection is to the south here. Man, it did really bad at initializing. Oh my gosh, yeah. This did really bad. Want to make that clear. Oh no, wait, hold on. Actually, it didn't do too bad with this blob up here. But that blob is too far to the north. It's too far to the north. So it is interesting that that blob is there, and it's currently, it's over. Most of it concentrates itself down here. So I don't know if that's an error, if this is why the Euro is giving this to us, if it's like, it's why I'm going to wait. But man, the signal is there for a northerly turn sometime to occur in the next 10 days. Yeah, see, this is going too far to the north. I mean, look at that. Right where the GFS wants it to. But only the Euro is slower at it. Jeez. Crazy stuff. Let me see what the 0Z GEFS Ensemble shows. Yep, further north on the Ensemble. Further north on the Ensemble forecast. You know what? I think I'm going to call it a night. I mean, I can't even... Well, yeah. Yeah, I think I'm going to call it a night. I mean, this is already going out to sea. Which is fine because I have to get up I have to get up really early tomorrow for church. So, but anyways, if you guys found this live stream very helpful, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. I will keep you all updated every single day here on the tropics and of course on Invest 97L going forward, of course. And if this does become a threat for the United States, we will be going live here on the channel for at least, I don't know how long, but 24 to 48 hours, somewhere in that range. So again, if you have not subscribed and hit the bell icon, please consider doing so now, because I will keep you updated here every single day with additional live stream discussions, something like this, if necessary. If it needs to be necessary, we will do that, especially if models trend further south again. As always, have a great night, you all. Take care, be safe, and I'll be back with you tomorrow at 3 p.m. on Sunday with another tropical weather outlook and discussion. Remember, 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time is when I will have a video out. I will not be live streaming tomorrow night because I will be at work doing my duties. And also, I won't be streaming live on Monday night either. So Sunday night, Monday night, no live stream, but instead we'll have a video. Peace out, folks. Have a great night. Share, like, and subscribe. Close to 50,000.